My guest for the morning, Ibrahim Ajay, is a member of the MPP's communication team. Thanks for joining me. It's been a while you've been on the show.
Yes, a very good morning to you.
You travel?
No.
Not really. Okay.
I've been here.
All right. And then also we have Abraham Amaliba. He's a member of the NDC's legal and communication teams. He's also here. Thanks for joining me, sir.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Now, let's straight away go to a subject that has dominated the front pages this morning. It talks about almost like knocking of heads or a tango between the MPP and NDC as to who developed the Volta region more and at which time, etc. We know it follows a comment the president may have made during his interaction in the Volta region with the natives there. And what do you make of the current now, almost like a disagreement between the MPP and NDC as to who developed the region a lot more? Even the president, former president, wading into the argument. Abraham, I'll start with you.
Let me say good morning to your viewers. It is not true that is the president who made the first comment. In other words, not the president who fired the first salvo. The first salvo was fired by Nana Akufo-Addo, who went to the Volta region and said that the NDC is taking the region for granted. You see, people, all these narratives, they cut off that place.
I get your point.
You see, they cut it off and make it look like the president just went and said this. You have an opposition.
So you are saying that he didn't say the thing in vacuum?
Yes, exactly. It was in response to an opposition leader whose fortunes keep dwindling in the region and thinks that the only way to whip up some interest in him is to tell the people that the government the party you have been voting for all these years has done little or nothing at all. Then the president also goes there and says that, look, what has the MPP at all done in the region? Trying to say that, look, when you are comparing records, we have done more than what the MPP has done. So the first, let's put it in perspective, and establish the fact, the first person who fired that salvo is Nana Akufo-Addo and not the president. The president's own was to respond. Now, what are the facts? After this happened, you heard the MPP saying that they established Hope-Poly, and I laugh. We all know that Hope-Poly was established under the Rawlings administration. Yes, the MPP might have come and maybe expanded the facilities and the facilities there through what? Through the use of Get Fund. Ask the question, who established the Get Fund? So you begin to think that the MPP, knowing that, and you know in the last election they didn't win in a seat there, all the seats were swept by the NDC. Knowing that their chances are very slim in this election, are now trying to play the people of Volta region against the NDC. We are not saying that it is Uhuru there. We are not saying that we've done everything. Indeed, no government can provide and address the needs of the people in just 4 years. That will not happen. But record by record, comparison, the NDC has done more in that region.
But that's not what the president sought to say in a statement. In a statement, he said the MPP had done nothing for the vote.
He said, what did they do? They had done nothing. See.
So it was not literally saying that they hadn't done anything,
no,
but just in context.
It is in context with the fact that Nana Akufo-Addo had made an earlier statement. And this is Ghanaian English.
Omunyehe. But it doesn't mean
that doesn't mean that you've not done anything. But what you've done is not comparable to what I have done. That is the situation. And if you want to go record by record, we established the first university there, public university there. That's a fact.
But they also constructed a road leading up to Akachi before there was a continuation by your government to Aflao.
So what we are saying is that record by record, comparison by comparison, we have done more than them. That's what we are saying. And we are saying that there's going to be an aerodrome or airport in Volta region. We are constructing it. We are doing that. So if the people of Volta region are asking for more, yes, it is understandable, just as any part of this country will ask for more. But we have done more than the MP. The records speak for itself.
I have heard from your side of the political divide that this is regionalism, tribalism, divisiveness, etc. We've gotten to that point?
Yes.
Why don't you make your comment on
sure.
what the president
Firstly,
said?
Firstly, a very good morning, Roland, to you and our viewers.
Shukran.
It's important for us to understand something first and foremost. Abraham wants to put it into context that he didn't say it in a vacuum. I'm talking Nana-Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, whose popularity is rather increasing, and the party as a whole.
I said the president didn't say it in a vacuum.
Maybe you weren't there. But when Nana toured Volta Region, you found, in fact, that the rank and file of our brothers and sisters from the Volta Region were, in fact, celebrating his presence and made known in the glaring view of all the media that they need change and they want change. Now, here's the vacuum that Roland Abraham is referring to. For 27 years, the NDC or PNDC put it together. 27 years, the NDC has gained the lion's share of votes from the Volta Region. 27 good years.
You mean support?
Support.
Because they've only gotten, since we had a Fourth Republic, the lion's share.
But let's say...
But you're adding the PNDC.
I'm adding the PNDC to it.
Granted.
And when they look at themselves, I'm talking the Volta Region, and they can see that for those 27 years, what have we to show for it? That's why when Nana-Addo says that NDC, and it's a fact, even the Voltarians will tell you, that they are being taken for granted. I'm sure that when President Mahama comes, the rank and file in Volta Region will not say Wezo. They will not welcome him because there is no jobs. As for industrialization, it's been put on the back burner. 1996, the Keta Sea defense was awarded. When the contract was awarded, it started in 1997. From 97 all the way to 2000, nothing happened. The money was squandered, and the Minister of State at the time was sacked. This one is clear. I'm telling you.
Was started by
I'm
Rawlings.
telling you.
Rawlings administration.
It was sacked. They were sacked because it was squandered. When President Kufuor came in, 2001, that's when you started seeing the Keta Sea defense wall with the monies that have been appropriated actually doing its job. And these things are glaring opportunities. When you travel from region to region, you see that this region is doing well. Will you not question what the government of the day is doing? And Voltarians are doing exactly that. They say, how is it that for all that we are a World Bank or the IMF to the NDC party, we have nothing to show for it, but we continue to lag behind on all categories. I'm talking educationally as well.
Let me ask you this. Let's say we've had President Kufuor, who comes from the Ashanti region.
Yes.
And so let's say the Ashanti region is developed. Let's say it's the government that has developed it conscientiously. Can there also be an argument from the other side that says that you're too inward looking, you're just looking at your region of interest and not doing a wider interest infrastructure development or nationwide national development? On the other side, that's what I think. Because if you come from a certain, or you feel that you get certain bank of vote from a certain region, and you tend to concentrate development into that region, you kind of alienate that region from the others. Is that not the thing that you do?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
No, I know that's not what you're saying. I mean, logically.
Sure, yes, and it's a logical...
So why should we be having another Dankwa Akufo-Addo and the NPP arguing that way?
No, because it's important that we are all Ghanaians. We've done the same with the northern region, likewise with areas in Greater Accra as well. You find that for so long, the north had been somehow put on the back burner, taken again for granted. But today, you have in fact...
the north has never been taken for granted.
Hold on. Yes, by the NDC.
It's the NDC
by
that
the
developed the north.
Because look what happened.
Brought electricity to the north.
Look what happened. It took an MPP government to bring water to Tamale. After all the years you've been there, water, which is the essence of life, it was under MPP that water came to Tamale. So let's understand, when people are looking for the basics in life, meanwhile you're busy doing borehole after borehole after borehole. Thank you, we commend that. MPP has done boreholes as well. But sometimes you need that catalyst, Roland, that game changer, that can really open up people's opportunities to achieve something in life. Likewise, education as well, in terms of the expansion within the northern sector. And isn't it interesting that President Mahama, who enjoyed free education, rather now wants to deny it to everybody, including our own brothers and sisters in the north. So when you talk about developing the north, and making sure that you have critical interventions, where like we did with the Northern Development Authority. You then hijacked it, did SADA, and then what did we find? When I say taken for granted, is whereby you give $12.5 million for afforestation, and then say that the trees are burnt. You give another 22 million for a confin, and then what happens? We know the wahala inside SADA in that area. There's been wholesale raping of the opportunities that the people of the North should be enjoying. Right now, if we even do a cost analysis, and I'm wrapping up here, if we do a cost analysis of the 8 years investment that MPP put into Northern Region, Volta Region, you'll find without any shred of contention, Roland.
You have the figures?
Oh, the figures are there. And if you want me, I'll quickly go into it.
Yes. That's not going to that'll be laborious.
And again, this is without oil.
Oh, I say wrap up.
I'm wrapping up right now. But the point I'm making is that when Voltarians are angry with the NDC,
so currently within the feedback you get within the MPP is that the people of the Volta region are really angry with the NDC government. Is that it?
May 17th, 2014, there was a Deborah of Chiefs who held a press conference in the Volta region.
Yeah.
And there were...
I just asked a simple question. Is that what you get?
That's exactly what it is.
All right. I want to ask the two of you, if we go on this very tangent, in this very line of argument, which sets the tone for the electioneering of the campaign, is that the way to go?
I think that's the way to go.
Because then the president will say that, well, I've built and I'm building an airport, I'm expanding, I'm doing this, I'm doing that.
Yes. Roland, we are in an election year, and that should be the debate. That should be how the debate should go. It shouldn't be using cudgels. It should be, what did you do? What did I do? I think that is healthy. He talks about the North. When the NDC government, and for that matter, the PNDC, was extending electricity to the North, these were the people who said that the reason for which we had Dumso for the first time in this country under the Rollins administration was because he extended the lines to the North. The people of the North did not deserve.
Nobody said that. Nobody said that.
You people said it.
Oh, nobody
said that.
Maybe you and said it.
Because of the extension of the electricity to the North, that's how they plunged this country into darkness.
That's a fallacy. That is not true.
We have the records. Then the people of the North are fully aware of this.
It's not true. It's never true.
If you look at the way the MPP
is a lie.
Deal with the people of the North, and that's why MPP is not attractive to Northerners. We look at it, generally, the northern part of this country will never vote for the MPP. Just as how there's no way they can win in the Volta region. In 2012, we won 10 additional seats in the northern region. Where were you? They are talking about generally. They are not talking about... I'm telling you, 10 additional seats, I'm saying 10 constituencies came to MPP. I'm saying that... Protesting against your incompetence and underdevelopment of the region. Now put all the seats together. Do we have more seats than you in the north of Ghana or not? In Wa, you have no one seat. In the upper west, no seat. In the upper east, you had to take one back. We are going to take the other one back. Has your vote increased or decreased? Your votes have decreased. So while MPP has increased. These are figures from the Electoral Commission. You simply cannot use 1.5 region to be able to win elections in Ghana. Nobody works Ashanti and we are not a confederacy. Half of Eastern region. We have won in all the regions except Ashanti and Eastern. And so when you look at it, we are more popular in terms of electioneering in this country than you. We have ruled this country more than
Mr.
you.
Maliba, the people of this country are... The NDC and the performance of the NDC government in office since, let's say, 2012, you think you're very popular on the ground?
Oh, we are.
Okay.
Which ground? Our infrastructure development. The ground on the moon. Would tell you that the people of this country are beginning to see that we are delivering.
Well made.
In fact, just look at they're delivering poverty. Yeah? The Kwame Nkrumah circle is no longer the Kwame Nkrumah circle that he knew. See the landscape.
We have flyovers, beautiful flyover. Yes, we all love it.
And we have taken all the tough decisions. Now, in 2017, we'll begin to reap the benefits of this infrastructure development.
Do I get the sense that between the two of you, it's almost like a do or die thing, as if this election is a make or break? Kind of.
It's a do and die for them because
the election is not a do or die matter. It's about issues. It's about issues that affect the people. And for me, I will die for the people of Ghana.
You will?
Of course.
Did you go for the demonstration?
Did you go for the... I was there in Kumasi. Let me tell you why I will die for the people of Ghana. Because others died for me, you, and Abraham to be sitting here today.
Sure.
1927, Association of West Africa Merchants.
But they didn't die.
No,
they didn't die for us arguing this very way. Regionalism. But they didn't die arguing this very way.
You had 3 court judges who were murdered. Today their busts are there. Who died for Ghana because at the time, the NDC or is it AFRC or PNDC at the time, the government of the day linked to the NDC government, okay, judges who didn't want to do what the government of the day wanted to do, i.e. to pervert the course of justice, were murdered.
People were executed for that.
And their bodies were executed. Their bodies were burnt at La Beach here.
Okay, let's
so
change
I'm saying
this.
that some people will die for Ghana.
The electoral
I
commission.
myself will die.
I know.
So that the people
I know you will die for Ghana. I know Abraham too will die for Ghana.
I will not die for Ghana.
Oh, I will.
I will not die for Ghana.
You will live
I will leave for Ghana to work for Mother Ghana. I won't die for Ghana.
Okay.
I will die
I will not die for Ghana.
Okay.
I will live for Ghana and work for the development of Ghana.
That's all right. That's all right.
That's why I die for Ghana.
Okay.
I will live for Ghana and live and
that's right.
contribute my quota to Ghana.
Hey, gentlemen, let me change
this. It is cowards who die.
Okay, there's a reshuffle that seems to have hit the Electoral Commission, and we know the media has speculated this, but also authenticated it with some information that there's an internal vacancy that's been made available in the PR department, etc. Following that, we found an NDC senior official come out to say the Electoral Commission needs to put its act together. Do things that would not send negative signals to either the opposition or to people that critique the current electoral atmosphere. We're talking about some of those, whether it's a reshuffle being speculated by the media, etc. What do you make of it?
It's difficult to understand what prompted this reshuffle, because Christian Owusu-Opare has been very adamant in his role, and he doesn't speak for himself. Let's understand something. He speaks on behalf of the EC Commissioner, Charlotte Osei. Last year, he said there's no overbloating, the register is credible, and we will not have a new register. We will use it as is. This is before the VC-RAC crowd was impaneled in November 2015. That was his position then. And look at the EC, February of 2015. They gave notice, 10 days notice, in order to do the district assembly elections, where the CI, the constitutional instrument, had not even matured the full 21 days. The EC says, we're autonomous, we're independent. But then a fisherman from Efotu in Central Region took you to court with all your autonomy and independence, whipped you in court, and then the district assembly elections were suspended until September 2015. The point I'm making is this. I'm giving you examples of the way in which the EC has been acting in ways which are at variance.
And you think this is just one of them?
This is I mean, they said that it's a reshuffle. And I'm saying I cannot really...
But the EC is entitled to undertake any internal...
Of course. My question didn't say why. I said I couldn't understand why they're doing it.
Sure.
Because you're reshuffling who? Christian Owusu-Opare. Who does he speak for? Charlotte Osei, to all intents and purposes. So maybe she should reshuffle herself. That's what she should do, and resign. Do the honorable thing. Because clearly, she's not up to task at all. But come what may.
To go and strengthen somewhere, or perhaps that person is weak.
So that's what I'm saying, that the reshuffle has been done. He has not been relieved. He has been reassigned to the administration. Who knows what happened at the administration? Maybe somebody has retired. So for the fact that we know that administratively these things are done every now and then, and it is common practice, let's not attribute wrongdoing to the officials who have been reassigned. They have played their roles well. Christian Owusu-Opare was not speaking for Charlotte Osei. In fact, Christian Owusu-Opare predates Charlotte Osei in the EC, and Opare was speaking at the time not for an individual, but for the
suspicion is that the head of the commission is feeling a bit uneasy.
I'm saying
she can't have her way, so she has to.
I'm saying that
she has to.
I'm saying that when you listen to Christian Owusu-Opare, has he ever come out to say something which is in contravention with the vision and mission of the EC? No. So it is just to say that, see, let's reshuffle, let's put some people at other places, and let new people come on board. Period. It has nothing to do with anybody not performing his role.
Okay.
I think that The reason why they are stampeding the EC, and the president has told them to allow the EC to work, is that they want things done in their way. This premature ejaculation demonstration they did at Kumasi, premature demonstration in Kumasi, talking about validation. The EC has told the IPAC that we are going to do limited registration. Let's finish the limited registration and add everything and do the validation. You have heard this, but you've gone to Kumasi to engage in a demonstration, which I term as premature ejaculation of a demonstration.
You know, Roland.
Okay,
Roland.
but I know this is not the first time that somebody who is a director for public relations has been shifted.
Sure.
I know.
It's not news.
I've known a
It's not
personal,
news.
personal uncle of mine who was a public relations head. First was head of Ashanti EC, brought to public relations,
Sure.
became finance director.
It's common practice.
Before. So I asked around, do you always have to shift people out? They say yes, and that position is always occupied by an internal person. They don't
Again,
go external, not ever.
Go back to my initial submission. I said I'm not fully in understanding.
You are
as to-
repeating then.
Yeah,
Make a new point.
No.
Yeah, the point I'm making is this: that
There's nothing new about what the electoral
No,
commission is
the
doing.
point I'm
Why
saying-
should it become a big issue?
no, who's making the issue?
You?
Who's making the issue?
are making an
no,
issue.
hold on, Roland. Who's making the issue?
Well, I
This
think
issue,
it's the media.
Thank
No,
you.
he has,
Thank you.
he's
It's
gone
important. Right, Abraham, my question has been answered. It's the media. Where have you seen the MPP comment on this?
No,
it's the media reporting the fact that it's been a reshuffle.
Okay.
And you
Just
when
inform me, because then you're saying
No, but the point I'm making is this. You made an important point, Roland, that people are shifted if you're reshuffled not for no reason. Often it's because you're ineffective. And if you're reshuffled on the way up, it's because you are effective. Do you get me? And so clearly there's a case of ineffectiveness.
on the front page of a daily
because
guide,
the important thing is,
you are his channel of
on
administration.
on the validation issue, the IPAC, as he talks about, it says that EC has said that they're going to do validation. Where have they said that? And why is it not in the timetable? Because CI 72, Roland, gives you 3 months before the elections, which is November 7th. You have to do exhibition. That takes us to what? August the 7th. And up to date, in 3 weeks' time, we're May the 7th. So what are you talking about, Charlotte, say that you're going to do validation? That smoke and mirrors won't work. He talks about premature ejaculation. Go and tell that to the thousands of Kayaye. Yeah? Maybe that premature ejaculation will conceive the child who will give Ghana its freedom and remove NDC from this government.
On the front page
Some
of
premature
the
ejaculation
Daily Guide.
actually conceives children. And know that your days are numbered. God willing, inshallah. Today's Friday.
Daily Guide has on the front page, Mahama must go to save Ghana. It's a story attributed to President John Kufuor. It's not for discussion though,
Okay.
but this is up for discussion.
Right.
It says Mahama cries foul over WAEC leakage and talks about President John Mahama describing as disappointing and unacceptable the reported leakage of examination papers. And we know that the president was inaugurating a UMAT hostel, that is the University of Mines in Takwa. How worried should we be? Because the president is also extremely worried. He's actually disappointed.
Yeah, I think at this juncture, I'm sure the president was also speaking not only as president but a parent. If you are a parent, you should be worried about some of these things that is happening. It's becoming perennial, so notorious. I have been on the heels of the WAEC, and I've asked that parents should bring a class action against WAEC for cancelling papers of students when they've not even given them a hearing. You cannot punish somebody without giving that person a hearing. It amounts to violating their fundamental human rights. The rules of natural justice require that if you are going to punish somebody, you give that person a hearing. Probably the hearing may not even change the punishment. That's in Adam and Eve's case. God gave them a hearing. Why did you eat of the fruit? But God still punished them. You know, just give them a hearing.
Yeah.
You don't just collectively, because there are some people who might have not seen the papers.
But they'll still do
You
well.
punish them. So I think that, and it's becoming too much in terms of the leakages. I think that because the WAEC is an independent body, because it's an international body, it was formed under a convention, then we had to reduce it to local law. But nonetheless, they are still, and that's why government cannot go in there. The president rightly said that the BNI should assist the WAEC to be able to find those people and punish them. Besides that, I just think that it's becoming too much. I think the decision not to cancel the papers is because the WAEC has come to the conclusion that they are unable to guarantee another safe paper, even if they set it up.
The next time.
So they are saying they are giving technical meanings to it. This one is not like this is foreknowledge. Doesn't matter. So I think they are even overwhelmed. The WAEC is overwhelmed.
Okay.
Maybe my colleague.
But what should we be doing as a country? Because it's a sub-regional body,
Yes.
Of course, and but it has this autonomy somewhat. But then its own inactions or actions would raise credibility issues for the outcome of certificates that will be handed over to students, etc.
Sure. And you know, Roland, it would be interesting to find out, because the white paper is generic across the region in terms of the paper set, as I understand it. Of course, there may be in different languages, but I'm talking about the curriculum-wise, even though different countries have different curriculum.
Well, the papers are usually different.
Sure.
But,
it will be interesting
sometimes the questions are
yes,
related.
within the same theme.
Yes.
It'll be interesting to find out whether or not Senegal, Nigeria, Togo, Burkina Faso, and other countries that form part of the West Africa Examinations Council also have the same.
No, there are only 4 or 5 countries that are.
Okay.
I think mainly English-speaking, Gambia,
Okay.
Gambia.
It will be interesting to find out
Nigeria,
whether or not
Saliyo.
they have the same perennial. And Abraham is correct on that issue. It's year in, year out. Whether they have the same leakages. Because if they're not, I've yet to do the research on this, but if they're not, then you know that the issue is really indeed homegrown. Or the problem is really homegrown. I mean, there are leakages all over. You'll see that in Nigeria, for example, at the tertiary level, there's always exam papers or leakages. But I'm talking about the nature and the depth and the volume of the leakages that we're facing right now. It's important because once we lack credibility here, it affects, you know, all Ghanaian students who then want to go further afield. Because now if you want to, for example, study abroad right now, they'll tell you that, for example, SHS, your grades at SHS, in order to do a degree in the UK or Germany, for example, they'll tell you to do a foundation year for your degree because they don't value or trust the integrity of...
So the foundation year is just a year?
Yes, it's a 1 year of it's like your pre-degree.
Pre-uni.
Pre-uni. So instead of doing 3 years at university, you do 4 years. But the point is this. What they're telling is we don't trust your exam results. So come and do 1 year before we assess you. It's an assessment year, and then you can go into the proper degree. I'm just saying that, can you imagine if, again, this problem is left unresolved? Now you're a student in Ghana and you want to travel and go study maybe at Ibadan University.
So all you're saying, it raises credibility.
Absolutely, and it's
All
important
right.
that we tackle it.
Mr. Malibat, let's just wrap up here. The president is now saying we need to make sure that we trace whoever the perpetrators are. But in the chain of setting the questions, printing, transporting, etc., this should easily be picked up by the West African Examination Council because they know who and who may have kept, may have seen, things like that. And for it to be happening the second or third year running, or very often as it is, now we're witnessing the frequency or how rampant is it. Somebody should hold them accountable.
I think that if hairs were made to rule in previous scandals, I'm sure we wouldn't have been where we are today. The man is still keeping his job, for God's sake. Because, see, I think this leakages has been continuously for 3 years running, and the man is still at post. I'm not sure in any institution where there will be such massive scandal and yet that person will be at post. And they are at post, and what they are doing is rather defending their acts. I think it is serious.
Foreknowledge and...
I think what we should be doing now is for all the the West African countries who are involved in this, come together and begin to fashion out the way forward. Because our certificates are increasingly becoming not acceptable. The integrity of the certificate is becoming something else. And I think that as West African countries, let's come together. It may only be in Ghana, but I think that we can still come together. How come that in Nigeria we don't hear so many of this? In Gambia we don't hear. We need to ensure that Ghana does the right thing.
Wrap up for me.
In terms of this particular issue, finding out who leaked it is very difficult, and I'll explain to you why. You can surreptitiously steal the paper. Let's say you are the invigilator or the person tasked to secure the paper before it's sealed and transported under armed guard to the various matriculation centers. Now, if somebody takes their mobile phone, snaps it, puts it back, as far as you're aware, the thing
But that
is
is what
secure.
I'm saying. The West African Examination Council knows who and who was
They know
in
who-
custody of what and what
Yeah,
at which
they have a
point.
pool of people.
And who is supposed to play which role at which point in time.
But you see, it's not. Let's understand that it's not maybe 1, 2, or 3 people. It can run into hundreds of people. So it's difficult. I'm not saying the difficulty should stop us pursuing it. It's right that you do a root and branch analysis to find out where it is. But when we do that, we'll get the solution. But as an aside, Abraham mentioned that he does not know of any institution where so much scandal and the person will still remain in place. Let me refer him to Elvis Afri Yankra. $3 million flown to Brazil. The man is still in post.
Is he still at post?
He's still at post.
As what? Minister of
Is
Sports?
at the presidency?
Minister of Sports.
Is he not at the presidency?
That's just an
Minister-
aside.
Minister
You
of
squandered
Sports.
$3 million.
That'll be it for our discussions this morning. Abraham
There's
Amaliba
corruption in the
is
MPP.
a member of the NDC's legal and communication team, and also a member of the MPP's communication team is Ibrahim Ajay. We're taking a break. When we come back, we're talking entertainment. Do stay on.